And welcome to the KFPL Friday night doubleheader between firesa and Anxious Pirate. And on the second half, we'll have Corey Than versus Aviator. And I have with me my esteemed co-host,
That's
Z.
me, Big Z.
Boom, the Z right there. Boom, right there, the Z. Okay, cool. So this first matchup that we're going to be talking about, is actually one of my teammates versus a repout player. So I'm excited to see this because I haven't got to see Anxious play yet. So I'm excited for him because I know he's been hyped for this matchup because it's an Australian versus Australian, and all the Australians think they're the best. So this is kind of like one of those fighting for a pecking order thing going on here, isn't it, Z?
Well, they're sitting here in the queue because I've got them all lined up and ready to go. So I was trying to hype them up, saying this is for the title of King of Australia, and they're both like, "Nah, we're just playing casual Keyforge, having a beer here." It's like, okay, whatever, guys.
Deep down that they don't believe that. They're not buying that. But anyhow, with that said, we are going to go ahead and take a look at some of the decks that they're going to be basically playing. So let's give a shout out to that. And the first deck that we're going to take a look at is Sultana Iriaka Donovan. So why don't you tell me about this FB score that you got going on here with this sassy crap?
So SASS did an update. We're not going to get into that too much right now, but it's basically a projected valuation that the efficiency within the deck is actually drawing cards that are giving you more value than just the purpose of drawing more cards. This 10.6 Facebook score is probably the highest in the whole league. It's a big number. It means not only you're drawing extra cards, you're drawing 10 amber worth of extra cards that throughout the course of the game that synergize with themselves, inherently drawing more cards. So that's what's going on with that. But either way, let's talk about the deck. Sultana, it's fairly well known. Repout uses it in many events because it's a fantastic deck. You've got a logo set that is just going to lights out, go on fire, and try to set up anything it wants to do because it's all about draw and archive. You've got Primus, Double Tribute with Sick in deck. You've got Brachus in case they can't answer on a turn. You've got the Axiom. Not as good as it used to be, but still there. Moving over to Star Alliance, you've got the double Curries to do all of the Saurian combo nonsense out of turn. You've got the Kincans, which can be annoying early. You have the Blaster on the double Kirby, which used to be a thing in this deck. Not so much a thing anymore.
It's still pretty good.
But still drawing cards is good, right?
Yeah.
Light of the Archons helps a little bit. The bigger thing in here is the Encounter Suit in a Primus deck. If you've never seen that happen, it's just kind of not fair sometimes.
Yeah.
And that could create really sick situations. So we're going to see if Sultana gets to do some work today.
Yeah, so this deck is, like I said, is a known deck. I don't think this deck ever sees play. It's kind of like yesterday we saw Light Tasker with in the suite with the game that we casted with Run, and I was just like, there's no way that anybody's gonna ever let Light Tasker play. And this is kind of like, I feel similar, even though there are some nice decks here that I know Fears is like a fan of, and one of those would be this deck from MM called Russo Scimiano Luciente. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah. Tell us about what you see here.
All right. So here,
what do you see?
What do I see here? I see a lot of Amber Control. I see Sins. I see Walking Nightmares and Implosions. All kinds of good things. But mostly I see Eaton's Jar, which has been lights out so far this tournament in the Dis House. So
Such a good card.
So Dis House is running pretty well. The Sins that he's playing, I don't feel are the quote unquote the best lineup for Sins. So I don't. The greed is nice, like that's gonna give value, and the wrath is cool for protecting it and stuff. But this isn't like the scariest Sins lineup, right?
Well, the sad thing that you've got here is you've got Amphora Captura in a deck, and you don't have Gluttony. Gluttony would love this Amphora Captura card.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen in this deck, so it's kind of like bad feels moment when you first pop the deck.
Yeah, but we do have the Curiosaurus to go with the Amphora Captura, which
We
makes
do,
it makes
which is
a
really cool.
interesting combination as you're able to splice them out. Plus, you have the Faust to tax with, and you have the Axiom to protect and wipe boards with. Ancient Power is really strong in this deck. You jumped all the way to Saurian. I was still in this house, and you had to jump all the way to the Saurian. But and then you look back, and then Logos is actually it's interesting because it's not the kind of Logos that I'm used to seeing, where like there's like a lot of efficiency, like value, like in speed. Causal Loop is so at best sometimes. Like it doesn't have any pips on it to make it any better, so I'm not overly impressed with that. But it does have the double standardized testing. It does have the key lock. It does have the odd clods and like weird ways of kind of just causing things. But I think that this is the weakest house out of the three, and that's odd for Logos to be the weakest house of the three in the group. But that's how I feel about that. What do you think of that?
I was actually answering. The players were asking if they could switch decks if someone loses game one. Yes, you can switch decks.
Okay, yes. So for Russell, I was saying that Logos is oddly the worst house of the three.
Yeah, I looked at it like I hate Calls of Loop unless you have whatchamacallit, the Novu Dynamo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't have Novu Dynamo here, this card frustrates me a lot. When I first saw it, I kind of got a little excited, but like after playing with it some, there's some decks where it's good in, like Munchling, Novu Dynamo. They can actually make good use of the way Calls of Loop works, but I don't see either of those two cards here. So Calls of Loop is just one of those decks that super frustrates me because I'm a big Logos fan and player. And it like tries to do what Logos wants to do, but doesn't really do it.
It does it slowly, right? And like all it does
it's like
it's not it's not like you said. There's
like that old artifact that seems like it should be good, but it's not. Sometimes a Mobius scroll or Mobius scroll,
yeah,
like,
Mobius scroll, that thing. Yeah.
Like that card seems like it should be good, but often it doesn't really do it.
Right, right. Yeah.
All right, we have a third deck, so we can kind of ping pong here.
Yep. So we move over to Opal La Dorta Contestia del Barrio, and this is a familiar deck because this is the deck that he took fourth place with in the league last year. He played this in the adaptive event, and
which translated, this is Opal the Golden. So that's what I've got it on the sheets so that people can actually like know what's going on. So apparently La Dorata means the golden.
The golden.
Opal so this golden. Is the type of Logos that I do love. You look at Triple Mothers, Howling Pit, Triples Lappy Labyrinth. Guys, that's an uncommon card that you got three of, which is just great efficiency. Phase Shift, Library Access, all of these things combined give you one of the best Logos setups you could possibly have. Normally you don't get any Amber control when you have that kind of setups, but Phase Shift allows you to have some to stay threatening even if you're controlled the Logos. This is really bonkers good high roll potential Logos. Jupiter, bounce over to you. Break down Shadows. What do we got going on?
Shadows is the only real Amber control that he has in the deck, right? But like he does a good job of using it timely, and this is basically a pure tempo deck that's basically looking to push to 6 every turn, like always check, and push them into a position where they have to deal with you, and then like counter punch one big time with the too much to protect here, and try to like flip the game and win the game with it. So I think that like the amount of pressure that comes off of the Untamed house and the Logos house here is uncannily fast. We've seen it before, and it basically he just tempos it into such a way. And then the Shadows is kind of like his relief, the relief valve house, like where it's like he can tempo, and then counter his opponent's counter, right? And that's where he wants to be. He wants to be countering his opponent's counter with the Shadows house, and then hoping that they run out of gas and taking it back. So that's kind of how I see it, anyway.
Yeah, so that's the nuts of the deck, because now we get to the last house. We have the Untamed, which you have some good stuff in the Untamed. You have a Full Moon, Nature's Call. You have a Flaxia, Witch of the Eye, Teliga, but then you're kind of burdened with double Niffle Ape, Niffle Queen, double Vigor. Nocturnal Maneuver can be good in the current meta, but these still aren't Dust Pixies, More Nature's Calls, Key Charge, Chota. So if the deck has a hole, like a weak spot to possibly take advantage of it, we're probably seeing that here in the Untamed. Not saying the Untamed is bad, because it's definitely not bad. It's still generating like 25 of the SAS points out of the total for the deck. It's just, if there is a down house, it is definitely the Untamed in this, because the other two houses are pretty bonkers good.
Yeah, I find that
Even though it's a down house, you still do have the Witch of the Call. I mean, sorry, Witch Call. So Witch
which
of the Eye plus
which
Nature's
the
Call
yeah,
combo.
yeah,
If it lands, it's devastating. So we'll see if we see anything like that
yeah.
as we bounce over to
Well, there's still
Witch of the
the last thing I'm going to say about this though too is that like you also have like the Flaxia and the Taliga who are very undervalued
Mhm.
like value cards for Untamed. They're not the Dust Pixies that we're accustomed to, but those two cards are very dangerous if they're played and unanswered. So, well, the Flaxia not so much. It gets played and it gets its effect right away, but the Taliga can hit the board and really if it's not dealt with can really tip that tempo, right? Like push it up. So Taliga is like definitely one of the all stars that don't get talked about as much because she's rare, so you don't see her as often. But when she shows up, she's always a nuisance. But with that said, we'll move over to Daphne Vega, which is Anxious Pirates deck. So we're gonna look at his three. So here's one of the best decks in the world, in my opinion. I love this deck to death, and
I think a lot of people would agree.
uh, triple EA seems like it's too much, but it's not because it just means you get an EA, and if you get too many, you pitch one. It's like, but you always have EA every game you play it. You have the lateral shift for like just the X factor in your opponent's hand when you're basically timing yourself. You have this crazy Dr. Millie Desania like code monkey thing going on for days. You have a touch of just everything. Like this is like the biggest one of the biggest utility like decks that I've seen, like as far as like having so many different little things
Yeah,
it can do.
like yeah, from the stealth mode to the triple EE against disc decks, from the color to the actual lateral shift, just so swingy. There's just so much. The Sanya, it's got like as you said, lots of tools. It's a toolkit deck. It tries to answer everything, but it still can't answer artifact control, which we've talked about a lot this league because we've seen Jar, we've seen Heart, we've seen Amphora Captura, we've seen game-altering artifacts come out and win games. So that does question, like, Daphne doesn't really have a way to answer these unless you get, like, the luckiest lateral shift ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to see what happens.
All right, so now we're going to push over to Who the Feckless. Who the Feckless is basically a another just like balls to the wall kind of deck that's going to basically play a lot of amber, make you deal with the amber, have lots of answers for like the little things you do, and like can basically push a tempo and control. And then the routine jobs quadding up is always devastating the later the game goes. So this deck just does a lot of good things, like, and it does them in bulk, right? So.
Yeah, sure. Again, this is not a deck that wants to see stuff like Jar, but this one at least has the Grasping Vines and the Poltergeist, and the Mimicry, actually. That's there too. So there are ways to deal with such things and keep the nuts of the deck online, because if you're having a 4 routine job deck, you're probably expecting to get value out of those cards and, not be forced to not play them and go cry somewhere.
Yeah, so last but not least, Morales from AOA comes into play. So we have one of the AOA decks here. Pretty strong AOA deck, as it basically does all the things that are good in AOA with controlling factors. It
Yeah.
has a good raw amber count, and it just does everything well. Like it doesn't have like a super power top, like where it's like something that just, oh look, Martian Generosity, you win with the combo. But it does have just tools that keep coming at you for days, and it just again pushes the tempo and has lots of ways to pull that tempo, like your counter tempo back with the Ronnies and the Snack Lifters are interesting. So. Um, I mean, this is a pretty cookie cutter, like just good stuff deck to me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it has, like you said, most, like, it's AOA, so that's a thing, but this has, like, all of the good cards from AOA. Ronnie's one of my favorite cards in AOA. It's paired with, it's got 3 of them. It's got the double exhume to continue to take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that graft. Basically, it has every way in the world to punish your opponent for going high. The only thing that I'm not seeing is a way to make them go high. It doesn't have Lash. It doesn't have Miasma. So this is a really, like, I'm going to catch you if you're not paying attention to what my deck does really well situation. So we're going to see.
Yeah. All right. So we've seen all 6 of the decks. So Sultana, Russell, and Opal. If you had to ban one of these decks, Z, if you were playing this matchup, which
So
deck
I know, since I recorded the ban, so it's your turn to guess today. So
okay, so
which one do you think you would ban if you were banning from those 3?
It's a tough call because Sultana is obviously elite, and we don't ever want to see her get played. But that Eaton's Jar scares the piss out of me if I'm Anxious Pirate, as far as with
So you
decks.
think you would go for striking Russell?
Um, mm, hmm. I think like maybe not the popular call here, but in the fact that I don't believe that he's going to ban Who, to make Who a better deck for me. I honestly think that Russell scares me more than Sultana here. But Sultana is still really good, and but I still think that I could take my loss to Sultana and beat Opal with my other decks, but like if Russell is in play, it can easily take Who out. So I think strategically, from the way I'm looking at this, without really testing it, I would be scared. So I think I would take Russell, even though I'm pretty sure Sultana will get banned.
All right. So switching to the other side. Oh, I guess we can go to the ban now and see if you're right. So yeah, Sultana was the ban in this case.
But that makes me
No
it makes me
shock there.
that makes me really scared for Who. Like that's gonna be a rough game if Russo gets paired up against Who. So there's a little bit of chicken that's gonna have to be played there. And then on the other side, what is the ban here? Hmm.
Yep, you've got Morales, Daphne, or Hugh, or Who. I
Hmm.
say Hugh, but I guess it could be said either way.
Yeah, Hugh. I think here I do just ban. Uh, hmm. I'm not banning Who if I'm playing Russell. If I think Russell's gonna make it through, so I guess I ban Daphne. Like it's just good. Like it's one of the best decks in the
All
world,
right,
and there's
yeah,
no reason not to.
lots of answers, crazy stuff going on. So yes, Daphne is banned. That is, let's see, yeah, yes, that is the ban. So the two bans were Daphne and Sultana. So let's go find their game and tell them to kick
Well,
this off. Let's.
first we need to pick a winner.
Oh yes, I am. I picked it last week. We already picked the features. So who did you say was going to win this week earlier?
I am thinking with the bands that I see in place right now, I believe that Anxious Pirate will still pull this out.
I already called it on our Sunday show. I'm still going with Pirate. He plays in the AC. Fire is a great player, but I think it's time for some new blood to come in and represent.
All right, so we are going to get these matches lined up, get them to get into the Crucible. I'm going to go find the game now as we have discussed all of the decks and we have made our picks. And who do you guys got in the chat? Like, tell me, who do you guys think is taking it? I see Fierza, of course, Andrew, teammate, not going to vote against him. But I wouldn't vote against Anxious Pirate either. Oh, we got Andrew going for Pirate and a couple of. So let's see what happens. As are they in game? Are they ready?
Yeah, they've got a mate game.
Okay,
They're in
cool.
a game.
Okay, cool. I'm getting there. All right. So okay, I'm guessing it is that. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So let's get into this game. But before we do, let's kick it off with a little something. All right, so we're gonna kick it off now into this full view. Why is this not working? What is up with this main window not working? There it is. That was weird. Took a second to pop up. I'm in the game. Are you in the game?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, they can get it started now. We are ready to see what comes from this matchup. Good luck, have fun. Hopefully you guys like that little intro. I made it real quick so that you guys would have some juice. It got me pumped. Oh, I forgot to change the my wallpaper for this, but that's all right. We will be burning the stockpile. All right. So it looks like Anxious Pirate is going to be playing first with 7 cards, and Fears is at 6. And we see that the matchup is going to be Who the Feckless out the gate versus Russell. So this is the matchup I was kind of
Ooh,
scared.
turn one play from Pirate lands the Ember Imp.
Yeah,
We've all been there, stared at our hand, had that damn it moment. So let's see if that's what's about to happen.
Well, good news is there wasn't a first turn response with an Eaton's jar, right? So there's time. We got some time here. Let's see what happens. There's a
So
there is a
if I'm
poltergeist. There is
pirate
a
here, like
poltergeist.
what's the hope here that I could keep how do I keep my ump on the board? Like I don't know.
I think you don't like. I think you just worry
Yeah.
about tempo, tempo, tempo. Hope
Well,
that
I guess making
poltergeist
him go back to disc to answer the imp is something. Yeah, there it is.
getting that poltergeist on to the Eaton's jar is going to be like crucial. He's already fed a routine job into his graveyard too, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I guess who's not so bad here because he does have the one poltergeist, so the poltergeist is going to do some work.
Well, and oddly enough, we're seeing a dis MM deck
Mm-hmm.
without the number one card in the league. Number one card of the league is
Or
by
furnace.
quite a bit in Furnace.
Yeah.
And there's no card muncher here. Could have enraged the urchin had he done that in a different order. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Maybe he didn't want to make the urchin mad. It happens. But that is a very nice starting lane for Fire. Got the 2 sins. Card size hand is 8. And unless Hugh bursts an early gateway, there's no easy answers right now, right? I guess lights out could be a thing.
Yeah, we see.
Oubliette oddly kills Wrath. That's funny.
Oh, it does. That's funny.
Big bad Wrath. Pew! Purge.
Purge. See you later.
Going into Dis, are we going to see an early gateway? And is that going to hurt? Is the chain count going to hurt? Oh, Control the Week will buy you time to dig for answers. You've seen nothing though. Like, what do you want them to call? Like, that's a hard Control the Week. If you have Gateway here, you obviously go just send them right back to
I think you
Dis.
definitely put him in the logos, right? Like because like it's all logos here is all
He does
control.
call Dis. So are we? Oh, and we didn't see a Gateway. Ooh,
I do.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Fights Naughty, enrages everything.
I wonder what the thinking was.
Probably going to use Cinder to kill Naughty. Yep, and just a reap.
I wonder why he would put him back into this.
Well, I guess he got lucky. Didn't he? Actually drew a lot of cards because he had the hand size of 8. He got lucky that he didn't draw any more discards, and he got minimal value there. Grasping Vines, the Dominator bubble hurts. You know your opponent doesn't want to go to disc for a while now, and that's a card draw in hand that will just be missed. It's a very good Grasping Vines play there. Discarded Mimicry for no value. That was a little rough there, too. Probably felt like he had to do it because he's digging for answers to the board. But that is a sad moment when you have to discard one of the better games in this game. But it happens. So you have Faust in play. You're not really using the Faust to keep him off key at this moment, but because you just landed Curia, you're going to go ahead and start manipulating the Amber swings. So he goes ahead and uses that. And then he plays, what is this one? Hedonistic Intent to put Amber everywhere. Wow. Everything's got the Ambers. Coda in 2021. Well, there's a mention about the chat talking about Coda being played in 21. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit off brand from what we've been seeing most recently. Most top results have been not Coda as much. I don't think we're actually seeing a response to what's going on this turn. Nope, just Just mitigating what's going on. Well, just mitigating the field a little bit. All right, here we go. Here's the Logos turn. We were talking about the weirdness of the Logos, so let's see what happens. We've got calls a loop. Gonna come back to haunt you. Opponent can't reap here. Jupe, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was dealing with Harlan. Sorry.
Okay, just checking. I'm my brother over there. All right, Pirate goes into Shadows. We haven't seen Shadows in quite a bit, so we've got a hand here. Got the steal 1. The Maul comes down. That could actually be significant. Steals the rest of it. Fortunately, he's forging a 9 right now, so it doesn't matter how much he gets right now. It's not a good moment. He suicides Urchin to send the Curia Amber back across, which is very good right now because Cinder already had 1 to manipulate Curia. You just need to pile up as much Amber as you can on the biggest creature, and he's doing that very well here.
Yeah, like the Curiosaurus Amphora is going to be huge. He has plenty of pips to do things.
Depending on how it's manipulated, it really depends on how Anxious navigates you here, because if you can kill all of your own dudes and then gateway,
Yeah, there's that.
you
That's
can get
the
hosed real hard by the scenario. And since his only character, like creature in play, is already dis and enraged,
mm-hmm.
all of this amber could be Anxious's with
Swing.
1 gateway.
Yeah, seems like a
And
good.
I'm not seeing anything that would swing the amber back, right? Like, this is MM,
Yeah.
so you're really just looking for graft, because that's his only options. We already talked about he didn't have gluttony, or like he has envy, but he doesn't have gluttony to take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
this
well,
could be.
all right. This is interesting. A timely gateway is the key here, right?
And there's 2 in decks. Like, there's 12 in discard, 15 in draw. So he's seen slightly more than half of his deck. So the odds that you have 1 gateway available to you is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, like it's perfect the way he has it set up now too, because the Dust and Fights gets the 2 amber, you bust the gateway,
Mm-hmm.
like all that amber flies right back. 1, 2, 3,
Well, yeah, he
4,
made
5, 6,
sure
7, 8.
that his own
And he won't be taxed because
Niflheim was dead.
the FOSS would be gone too, so the tax would go away, so he'd be paying regular cost for it. So it seems really, really good. It seems pretty.
Yeah, because he sacrifices Ritual of the Hunt to make sure he could kill his Niflheim last turn. Like, I was wondering about how that happened, because he could have reaped there. Alright, so he's going in Untamed, which is a little surprising. So clearly no gateway, but now the gateway doesn't work.
Doesn't work as well, yeah. Like, that's interesting.
Because he has no reason to answer Flaxia. He probably had to answer the Witch, so maybe I might have just discarded Flaxia there and played the Witch if I had to. If I'm looking
There's
to
the
try to
Eaton's
draw.
jar. And this Eaton jar goes on gateway, and then now there's problems, right?
Yes. Does it hit gateway?
So now he
It
needs
does. Gateway to
poltergeist.
disc.
So now he needs
Yeah.
poltergeist to
Now you're
rip it.
looking at Poltergeist or bust. Pretty much. It's gonna be a real bad day if Poltergeist does not come out soon.
Well,
Because his board is growing. We're seeing that.
mm-hmm.
He's going to start using Cinder to sacrifice the 1 Amber people
Yep.
to send it over.
He's got a nice engine set. But like this, I guess how fast it's going to take him to hit that poltergeist into gateway is huge. And the bad thing is like he had the chance to have it set up to where he would really be able to manipulate that better, but he added those 2 untamed creatures instead of discarding them, and now it's a little bit trickier.
For sure.
What does he bring back? Does he have anything in discard that would help him here? Control the Weak, maybe? Control the Weak keeps the Cinder play down, but like Mimicry? Is there a Mimicry play?
I still think. Oh, he is repeating with Cinder. I would have thought he would have answered the Witch with the Cinder.
Yeah. So he does have a Mimicry play here, but nothing really that's going to give him like a cause for it, right? Like there's nothing in the mimicry side
Yeah,
that's gonna.
Axiom is dead. Where the eyes can kill nothing.
So I'm guessing it's like this is just bad times.
Oh, implosion. That answers the witch.
Does.
Double amber implosion. Love me some MM. Fun to see cards do new and exciting things. Destroy Octavia and the witch. So yeah, now Flaxia is answered. So even if you have Gateway and Geist in hand, you can't do the thing
Right.
because of that Flaxia.
Yeah.
Zero value flex.
Yeah.
The fear here is an interesting choice. You go with the Cinder. I don't know. The Cinder already had the pile of amber.
But that all comes back to him, so that's not bad. There's the poltergeist, gets rid of the jar, so now we're in business a little bit. Oh no. Uh, that's not too shabby.
Interesting.
That's not too bad, I guess.
Mm-mm.
The Ember Imp is annoying.
Yeah, that would make it probably hard to go Logos here. Because oh no, I guess standardized testing. There's two in deck. That's an answer from hand. It also hurts. Doesn't really hurt you that much because the Thero Amber would just go to Flaxia.
Yeah, but there is 6 Ember.
Oh no, it would go to Terror.
There is 6 Ember like to be had here on a standard, like a set of standardized testings. Like if you played both.
Oh, true.
I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but Odd Clod coming in. There's the universal key lock for a nice tax. On both sides though, so it's not overly helpful here.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see Universal Keylock played. I have deck that has it that I use quite often. Occasionally I get burnt by it. So they're asking what my fear target would have been. Like, I don't. I guess it was harder than I thought.
And
I normally don't kill the guy that already has the piled amber, though.
yeah, I think the
But I guess because he was reaping and sacrificing.
like the I think that like the Sacrifice. Well, they all have pips on them too, though. So
Yeah, they all have. Yeah, they're all good.
So I don't know. Maybe you go in Faust's way to make him put more dinos onto the board. Like if you'd bounce the Faust, like he would have basically been back even, and then the Faust would have to come back out with other dinos, and you.
I do think if you have Gateway here, you just do it and make him burst the lock.
That's a good call. And then you're
because like Gateway means you gain 3 amber, he gains amber, but he will burn the lock for sure.
Yeah. And you'd get the reaps off of the Shred and the Terror, so that's not too terrible.
Because as we said, there's no high end punish here. Like it's the normal MM without the grab. So the high end punish is the key lock.
So, Sacrifice.
There's the Gateway. Yep, it happened.
Yeah, it's happening. This card's so hard to deal with on TCO.
It's just a lot of clicking.
Yeah, but it's
clickety click click click
like
click.
There's micro clicks everywhere. Like it's just a pain in the butt. I don't like it. Right, so he goes to 9, puts Firesa to 12, but Firesa's paying 9 for this key, which is going to put him back down to 3.
Yeah, with that amount of captured amber, that was Fire was going to get it eventually anyway. Like it's his.
This breaks him even basically if you look at it at this sense, but it is Firesa's turn, so he has a way to not a way, but he has a
response first.
A response, yeah. So
he gets to set board first. So it would have been a much better turn if Pyro had like any creatures to board at that moment, but still worth it. Envy? The Envy one. Oh, it's the capture all. Envy is very sad if you don't have Gluttony. Ooh, makes him pay back. Tax both ways.
Well,
Nice answer. Oh no!
Snag it.
I
Guess keep him off of a key was important here. Lights out.
I think I would have made him pay that. Like we've talked about that before, right? Like that's one
Yeah.
of the things that's come up. Like though we see that a lot. I make him forge there at the full 8.
Yeah, I think so. And now he's just taking full advantage here. And I
Yeah.
don't think Fierza can answer that at this point. There's not like he has to just start capturing a bunch, but that's not going to end well.
Well, yeah, we already talked. Like we looked at the MM like side of this. It's
We're
real
at
rough.
we're at the end of the deck with 3 routine jobs. There's a 6-pointer like looming,
Yeah.
or I should say a
And
5-pointer, right?
yeah, and he's not getting back to Jar to do that. So like, there's those loops, man. Like, it's sad,
Not fast
sad,
enough.
sad. Like I hate that card. Like without the cards that we mentioned in pregame, like if you don't have the Nova, we don't have the Munchling, like Calls of Loop. Like I basically use Calls of Loop in the decks that I have it. I find another card I never want to
Grasping
play, and I
Vines,
put
that's
them both
huge.
there.
Grasping Vines is huge.
Oh my god, that hurts so good.
That's a tempo play right
And none
there.
of those even have pips.
Hmm.
Ouch. That might be game breaking. Uglook is commenting in chat that he also hates Causal Loop.
Yeah, I'm not
But
a
he
fan
said
of.
it wrong.
I'm not a fan of causal loop either. Casual loop. He's with the casual. But he is French.
Like Wookie on
He
our
is
cast
French.
could never say causal, period. You just can't.
Causal loop is the proper way to say it, and I only ever say casual when people say it, and like I get trapped.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Causal.
trap.
It's a trap. But okay, so there's a push with some amber control and some backup warding. So there's that axiom, or not the ancient
Mm-hmm.
power coming
Ancient Power, yeah. It's a great card in here.
into value.
He fights in to get the purge. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Discards a Sacra Fiend with the Subtle Maw, which is a good hit because it also has a capture, which
Yep,
has lots of Curia value.
that's a swing. So this game is looking to be a slobber knocker here. And
Hey, we're gonna get an odd Claude Steal. Like I always like to see when those dudes actually do their thing.
yeah.
Oh, it was late, but we finally found the Super Mech. This deck does have a Super Mech
Oh God.
to double draw, 3 draws every time it lands.
Ugh.
Has a pretty good synergy with the Amphora Curia
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that none of those. Oh yeah, he didn't want to capture because he can steal with odd. That makes sense for sure.
Yeah. And drawing cards, I heard, is good.
Yes, drawing cards in Keyforge is good because no mana cost. Ooh, hits the Ancient Power, which is a thing.
There's that routine job. Takes as much.
He only steals 2 because he's only got 2.
Yeah. That's still 2 that he stole.
I'm interesting that this was a Shadows. What is he holding that he went Shadows?
I think he wanted to flip his deck and get that value out of the routine job before it went down to 1. But I don't think it was worth it because the chances are that you draw back into another routine job and just use 2 for 3. So I don't know. But
yeah,
hard to say.
I really thought Pirate had a window of opportunity to run away with this. That didn't happen. So now we're going to see what happens here. Because with Amphora and Curia online, the other side of the table does have a lot of Amber control. Mm-hmm. I don't think we ever saw the second gateway. Did we see that get discarded? Because if we didn't, that means it's definitely in hand. Mm-hmm. But the problem with Amphora Captura, it's so hard to get them, like, even if with Control the Weak, it's hard to force them on it one where they can't control you off a key because they can just capture with all their pips. Mm-hmm. So be interesting to see what goes here. Mimicry hits. Oh, Ancient Power. Fair enough. It hit an ancient power with a capture, so it was able to capture onto the witch and then ward the witch. Real cute. That's nice. That's actually a pretty interesting thing. If the witch doesn't get answered somehow this turn,
You just keep getting
you could
mimicry.
just keep ancient powering the witch and capturing. But that's all that's there.
I don't think that's a route to a victory though. But then
No,
maybe like
it's just funny and obnoxious.
funny and obnoxious, true. Yeah.
There's the answer. Oh, that doesn't answer the
It
witch,
doesn't answer.
but it will. We have cards in hand. We have plenty of cards in hand because this deck. What is this name? Is this Russell? It draws a lot of cards.
Oh yeah.
Because it also puts Super Mech back into the archive, which could be to capture if they don't want to draw. Such a good synergy with
Eden's
M4.
Jar, and it's on.
What is the call here? Is it Gateway again? Yes, it's Gateway again.
Mm-hmm.
Cinder protecting the Odd Clawed. Envy comes down. Needs a second Sin to actually pull the capture off. Dino Fiend can answer the Witch. All of this Amber is safe for now from a Gateway swing because of the Eden's Jar. Does so much work. I think the higher level you're playing, the better Jar gets. Because even though they're high level decks, a lot of high level decks just still don't have R. Mm-hmm. And they have certain synergies that are more critical to being oppressively winning games. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that we're seeing them do so much work.
So, True Brew, that's an interesting pool.
Is there bounce here? Is this a safe True Brew? I don't think I see any bounce. Do you? That almost never happens. Yeah, there's no bounce.
There's no bounce. So that True Brew is
so that is bank. Yeah. I'm so scared to play True Brew these days because back in Coda Land, there's always lights out, nature's call, fear, period. They just have it.
It's still a pretty common occurrence. It still shows up.
Yeah, no, it's still a thing, but there's less of it these days, I think, because there's just more things good.
So that True Brew is banking 5 off the go, so that's pretty good, and he can use it to fight into the Wrath, right? There's no Wrath, there's a Cinder.
Wrath is not out, so he can't kill it easily unless he can get he can get his Gateway back alive. That would be a thing. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing though is I think Fire is trying to set up a push to go to a game-winning scenario because he's just building board, giving him options.
The True Brew is actually kind of anti-Curiosaur, right? Because he's gonna hold all the amber, and then you have to kill him to get that amber. So it's almost like you have to give a key to him to get your amber back, right? It's not exactly perfect, but interestingly warped.
Yeah, it is an odd answer to what Curia is good at doing.
Because literally he can get to one amber. He's a threat to make key if he can kill the Faust, right? Or whatever it is that's taxing him. What's taxing?
So here's another interesting play of Universal Key Lock. So Key Lock here means if you win the game, you go to 9. But it also means if I end up winning the game, I paid 3 extra again.
You pay 3 extra and take him off of having to have 3, right? Having 9.
Yeah.
That's crazy because and with the amount of routine jobs that he left on the board by not playing Ethan's Jar and routine job, that's kind of weird. I don't know about how that feels to me.
Yeah, that's one of those things I think I would have thought a long time about that one. It could end up being the right call, right? If that gives him just enough time to push high enough on the same turn, and then immediately answer, and then push again, that could be the right call.
What's his spiky game win situation here? I
mean, at this point, it might just be get to the point where you can reap 10 times with your logos, people.
Yeah, but that still won't spike him to 2 keys. He needs 2 keys, right? So he has to be able to get to 2 keys without Anxious getting 1.
Yeah.
So I
And I
think
expect to see some steel here because he's going like his whole shadows line is basically steel.
yeah. So
Silvertooth
it's
as
like
well
just
from
ton
the
like
Oak.
this is just like put yourself at 6+, and then that key lock traps him because like if he makes a key, it instantly gives Anxious Pirate the game in a nutshell. Like, right? Am I missing that? Like, what am I missing?
No,
Like,
no, like that's what I said. Like that was an odd. I think it also gives because while it does technically give you more time, it does give Anxious more time to set up his steals, like his stringy shadow
ooh,
steals.
there's a big hand.
All right, this is 13 card hand.
There's a
So
big hand. Let's see where this is going.
what's
What
coming
are
down
we?
from Saurians?
What am I missing? Like, I'm missing something here. I don't understand the key lock play at this point. But Fierza is a very good player, so I know he has a plan. There's always a plan with the Uglux and Fierzas of the world.
Ooh, that's a pretty high comparison. You fires in your Ugluk category.
Online play, yes. Like, Fierza is very consistent.
Mm.
You don't have to agree, but that's my thoughts. I see them all the time. I've
No,
seen
no,
them
no.
since day
Fire's
one.
great. He's a great player.
I've seen them since day one. So
I remember we used to run a lot of the decks of Keyforge events back when DOK was running events through them,
hmm
and he won a lot of those.
and the Keyforge events too, like the very first one, like the ones that were like the very first rounds of stuff. Fierza and Ugluk were always there too. So
Mm-hmm.
Siaka's coming in with the Envy or
It's
Faust
Shaka.
lock. Oh yeah,
Shaka.
Shaka. Sorry, Shaka. Envy
Shaka.
or Faust lock setup. I don't know if Faust is a lock though. He has ways to kill Faust. I guess Envy is a legit like I'm gonna take all your Amber threat, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a way to get rid of that either. So, but I guess with the I don't know, like weird. The game is just weird. Go to time and
Wait, did
like
he just
win with a.
kill his own envy?
I think so. Beware the eyes on it.
That felt odd to me.
I mean,
I don't really know what just happened there. Like, I'm not gonna say that was good or bad. My brain did not compute any part of that sequence as being anything. I don't know. Jupiter thoughts on what just happened. Beware the eyes.
Fierza like made a mistake. Like he played it thinking he could kill something, but it wasn't that. I don't. That's all I could think of. Like, cause I don't know. Like there's no reason to kill Envy, right?
I don't think so. There's the poltergeist,
Hmm.
but he
Free.
can't gateway right now.
I mean, technically he could, but it would be a bad thing. He'd only get 2 Amber.
Yeah.
Actually, if he gateways right now and gives Fierza the key, he pops the lock and he would be in check.
Why? He'd be at 6.
Well, he's doing it. So, yeah, he'll be at 6, but the key's going to go away on Fierza's turn. Like, Fierza has to forge for 9 right now. And then he's at, like,
Oh,
10.
control the weak.
Yeah! That's the game.
There's the hard call though, because like,
Logos is it.
oh no, he can capture a bunch of logos because Amphora, because of the
Oh, the crazy mech, yeah.
oh, you missed Super Mech.
But I
Because
don't. But,
Super
but
Mech
there's only
alone
one.
captures 2.
Yeah, but he's at 10. He needs to capture more than 4.
What did he call last turn? Did he actually call logos the turn before? No, he called
1, 2,
Saurian,
3,
right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
No, he just played like a huge
6,
Saurian turn.
6, 7. There's 7 logos cards in the bin already. So there's only 5 cards he has that he can play. One of them is Super Mech, but the other ones I do not believe have. Well, he has standardized testing that might have a pip.
But looking at the list, he just had a huge Saurian turn. 3 of the Saurian cards are actually artifacts. Like the odds he has anything Saurian in his hand is pretty low right now.
But like, there's no play for but there's absolutely there's pips in Saurian. There's a lot more pips in Saurian than there are in Logos right now. I think he has 3
He can
total
only
pips.
have 2. He can only have 2 cards. You can see his discard pile.
Let me see. Purge is 1.
He's got 3 on.
2,
Oh no, Purge. It's 1. He has
2,
1 Saurian card.
3, 4,
1.
5, 6, 7, 8.
3 on the field, 1 Purge, 7 in
8,
discard.
9, 10, 11. Yeah, you're right. There's only 1 card.
Like he just had this huge turn because he pulled. Remember, he had 13 cards.
Oh yeah. So he just didn't count. But Fierce is still.
Either way, he won the
cut it.
game. It's a good game, but still, like there's with the M4A, you've got to do the count.
It gives us something to laugh at him about, right? Like, be like, "Yo, what are you counting?" No, just kidding. He'll see it. He'll go back and he'll beat himself up over it a little bit. But that was a really good game. Like,
even Oobler's calling if the Q-Mech had redrew the key lock.
Oh yeah, he could have flipped the deck and redrew it. Yeah, that'd been funny. Oh my god, yeah. But 1 card, that's all he had left in Saurian. He should have counted that. Like, that's an easy count. That's an easy count.
Fire the Faust, that pushes your key cost to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Your 1 card has to be a creature and have 3 pips. That does not exist in his deck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They are going to game 2. Let's go find them.
All right, so let's leave this game here. Let's go back to the close-up screen real quick. And we're going to go into game 2, where Firesa is going to be looking to avenge his loss.
Remove Hugh. So now that does push Pirate to Morales. That AOA deck with the fun Ronnie stuff and action going on.
Yes.
A lot. Like, the artifact control is high, but the funny thing is none of it will hit Jar. Doesn't matter if you stack lift or Jar, you still can't play your Ronnie. So that is a challenge for sure.
Who's going first is the question. Fierce gets to pick. Okay, he wants to go first, so hopefully that will be the case. So
I can't remember if we solved this. Couldn't, if they had made it adaptive, they like choose that and just did nothing?
I don't know.
I can't remember. We need to test that between now and like later. I think that is the way to get that done, but I can't remember if
Firesa did win the flip, so we are lucky. We got there. So let's get into this round number 2, where Firesa and Anxiospirate are going to go head to head. We're going to give the intro first, not just jump in here. And basically, we're going to see if he can basically come back and pull out a victory. Okay,
yes, yeah, it's in the situation where he has to beat Morales twice. So we'll see if he can get at that. He could have switched decks. He could have gone from Russell to Opal the Golden. He chose to stay on Russell, which I think is a smart decision in this case, because Jar is phenomenal in this matchup. So we're going to see what happens. Question, Jupiter.
Yes.
My opponent has Snecklifter. Do I play Amphora Captura?
I say yes because he can't make use of it as well. Like,
I mean,
he does have pips though.
Curious,
he has a lot. He does have a lot of pips. So, yeah, like he has a lot. He has, I think, isn't this one that had like 16 raw amber? I don't remember. Maybe.
Morales has 16 raw amber. Yeah. And Curious online, so like used right, that becomes steel. Like it's an interesting conundrum. I don't know the answer. Like I didn't like look at like test any of this stuff, right? Or really talk to any of them, neither of them on my team, like all of that. So it's interesting to see. Wait, what? I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't either. I don't know what happened here.
Me neither.
I think he ended his turn or something. Because I don't
Fire. Chooses Saurian.
I guess
plays Monument Falls, plays Foster Great, readies cards, ends turn. Like that all seems normal.
I think Nif ended a turn earlier than wanted.
Oh, Anxious is saying like he wanted to play other stuff before Nif. Got it.
I feel some salt on the tone here from firesa. Oh, Fierce's baby pressed end turn. That's funny. He said whatever to it, so he's like whatever. Well, at least the baby is learning Keyforge early. See, I'll tell you right now that end turn is Harlan's favorite button too. So I think there's a trend.
When kids attack. All right, still no jar, still no amphora, so no real decision points that we're interested in seeing coming out yet. Life for a life, big turn. It's 6, and that is what I was expecting to see from Morales. While it is rare, good AOA kind of works this way. That universal key lock is a problem for Morales because basically your win con here against this deck is push as fast and hard as you can before all the shenanigans get set up.
Mm-hmm.
Key lock is probably going to hit Pirate.
Yeah.
Got a disc call. Misery exploits nice here. 3 fates is really nice here. And there you go. You push to 10, and then Tentacus. Probably not going to get any value out of there. And the Exhume does hit a Ronnie. So we've seen 3 Ronnies played, 3 total Ronnies played because of the Exhume before Jar. So that's already significant. That is all value that could have been completely nuked off the planet.
Yeah, but the thing is even if you get to Eaton's Jar at this point, you know this game is going to go long if you're going to win it. So like you still going to pick the best threat, right? Like I still think you pick the Ronnies.
With the Exhumes and the Ronnies, I think
maybe the Exhumes. Like how many? Exhumes?
There's an argument to be made for Exhume as well. We've seen one Exhume. We've seen one Ronnie, one Ronnie on the field, and there's one also in the discard. I don't know.
It's got to be like Exhume or Ronnie, right? Like whichever you think is a bigger threat. And I think kind of like by tapping out the Exhume or the Ronnies, like the Exhumes become much less good because that is definitely the best target for the Exhumes. Like he doesn't really have a lot of other stuff, so.
Cold Weak hitting Greed is pretty solid. Like that crap never happens for me.
Yeah.
Cold Weak is always some garbage thing.
Yeah.
There's the alright, second Exhume. It's the second Ronnie played. At this point, a lot of Jar's value has been mitigated already. Now we're about to see, can he answer the Tesmal? Because that's a thing. Like I've seen people lose games to Tesmal quite often.
Yeah, single Tesmo catches you on the wrong house, like game over, right? Like
yeah, especially like looking at if we're looking at the discard pile, luckily for Fire, the discard pile is really balanced. So that means there's a good chance his hand isn't mono anything. Sacro Fiend isn't going to be able to answer. Soulkeeper, nope, that's not going to answer. Implosion will answer both Tentacus and Tesmal with 1 blow. So that is a real good swing for Fire.
He's on it.
He is at that 8 number, so if Pirate did draw his 3rd Ronnie, it's the time. Nope, we're seeing Logos. We could have Graft or Cutthroat. Talk about a deck that... we talked about this.
There's the Graft.
Like, if you go high, you're going to get punished.
If you stay low, you get punished.
Because it's 3 Ronnies, Graft, double Cutthroat. Like, it doesn't matter how you go high. 2 out of 3 of his houses are going to take advantage.
Fire's a...
Nice. Oh, man. What a swing. Graph for 3. Super Mech is here to play. Board's coming back down. That crappy card is played. That other crappy card is played. I gotta admit, it did do a little bit better in last game than I expected it to do. But if that was just like lab work or sloppy lab work or any other normal card that does that, he would have flipped his deck way sooner last game and had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I mean, he's getting the most value he can out of it. I just
yeah,
don't, like you said, there's just better cards.
yeah. Here's the Snack
Snack lifter.
Lifter.
Do you take the Ludo or
I'm
the
probably
Dominator bottle?
taking
The Dominator bottle, right?
the.
You have
I
disc.
guess.
Like it could be useful. Like it basically gives you another disc card. It's not too bad.
If
I like
he,
it.
hmm.
The Ludo is like you got to be in Losorian, so he'd have to be in Shadows to use it, which makes sense. But
I think he personally gets more value out of the Frost, but Dominator Bobble is really good in MM decks, and he always has all these Logos dudes alive.
Yeah.
So I think the value of taking the Bobble is to considerably slow him down.
There's a
But
Captura.
what's super significant, though, is that's now able to come down because Snack Lifter is on the other side in play and kind of not a threat anymore.
But
because we've seen
if it finds a way to die, the flip is coming. Are both Exhumes out? Yeah, one.
Both Exhumes have played.
I only see one.
I'm pretty sure they're played.
Oh, that's called a week. Never mind. Two Exhumes. You're correct.
They're both in there.
I was looking
they're
at
right next to Golden Week.
Wrong art. So yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Forgot to prompt.
I don't even. That doesn't matter. Even if there is no prompt that would have made that happen any other way. The destroyed effect happens before it's destroyed, so it's not going to get purged.
This isn't like damage, highlighted damage. This is part of damage as being damage.
The destroy effect is definitely the first trigger. That's been around for a long time because of Bolter and Penny and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just explaining for the newer guys like Andrew. It's like the destroyed effect that's happening from the special delivery is not a highlighted destroyed effect. It is just being when it is destroyed. So therefore, as soon as it becomes quote unquote destroyed, the destroyed effect will trigger before that trigger gets that key. That the keyword kicks off before the text word. So I guess I think that's the right way for me to say it. But as you can see on special delivery, destroyed is not highlighted, and therefore it is secondary to the destroyed trigger that was on the other mech.
Super Mech's back.
He's a super mech. He's super mechy.
And he's back because of the miss.
Shakalaka.
But that's the thing, like, we're about to see if all of this capture in the Amphora deck can hold Morales, because Morales bursts all the time, quite frequently, right? And Curia is not online.
No.
So have we seen Unlocked Gateway? Because I think Reap Unlocked Gateway is probably a win.
Pretty close to it if it's not, yeah.
Because that puts you at 10? If it's not a win, it is a real close, real hard to handle. So we've seen Logos, we've seen a Cutthroat for no value. Standardized testing kills the imps, which is basically a gateway.
He got up to 8.
Yeah.
It's that pressure.
So now he's going to, Morales is going to be in this, like, answer me now situation. And Fire's only at 1 key again. This is one of those things curious. Like, I know both of these, like, I don't know what Fire was practicing or much this week, but Anxiospirate was in the AC server practicing every day. He was literally practicing. I was at work and I saw him posting in the AC Discord for any random person to practice a match for today. And someone answered and they played. So I know Anxious has been super prepping for this. What I am always curious about is this how the practice went? And yeah, Fire is commenting that Anxious has so much removal left because even if he maximized the Amphora right now, he's only got 2 cards left in draw. You have to assume your opponent has unlocked Gateway. So even if you get all of that out of his hand, he's just going to wipe the board again. I guess you could Jar and lock Gateway. That seems bad, though. Because then you'll flip his deck, and then the Ronnies come back, and the Exhumes come back. Like this. This is deep breath. See what happens.
This is AOA's finest. Like this is what AOA does best. It plays like above average cards, like a lot of above average cards with nothing really bad, nothing really great, but like it just kind of just flows. I love this style.
Yeah. If more decks were like this, I wouldn't hate AOA so much. So like, but yes, I said like when we first did a set review a long time ago in Archon's Corner, I said early on, this set is going to produce like 5 of the best decks in the world and like 1,000,000 trash decks. And that's generally what has come to fruition. There's just so many decks that just don't do anything. And then you get these decks. They're like, why isn't the whole set this way? And then you start looking at the reason why. You've got a whole bunch of bad commons in the set.
Yep.
Which we're not actually seeing in Dark Tidings now that we finally got some.
Yeah, I
some
think this. I think like I still stand by my claim that AOA was the fallen empires of Keyforge, and I know that means
Yeah, I don't
nothing
know.
to
Don't
you.
know what that means. That's garbage talk.
No, it's not. It's a true statement for anybody that was a Magic player. It's like
All right. Well, there's the envy,
yeah.
but as I said, like odds are, Pirate has to. I mean, you still have to think about. Waking Nightmare will.
He did play the Eaton's Jar, so that thing's in play now forever.
Jar. What did he jar though? 3 Fates.
Interesting choice.
So it goes to Logos. Is there another test? Like what's going on in Logos here? Lots of just card play. Goes to 9.
He's like, yep, you're gonna have to put that key lock down, and it's still not gonna help you. You're gonna have to play the super mech and get some capture down, and then I'll blow it up with a gateway at some point.
So going into Logos here, yeah, I think we have to assume that the key lock is in hand, or he's going to burn 5 pips on 4 pips on captures.
There's a Kronos. That's a interesting start.
Plays Kronos. Fire is now saying he thinks he messed up anyway. Not sure how that means that the Kronos was the play. I know he could have taken him off key because Envy can capture everything.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he whiffed at this point.
Maybe he doesn't want to just play Envy and Reap and like basically leave. Like he's gonna need what like at least
He's calling it GG.
3Ds. Good
Fired.
job, Pirate.
Taken down by Pirates. 2-0 goes to Pirate. Congratulations, Anxiospirate, winning your Australian showdown in the KFPL. One of our first featured match of Group H. Anxiospirate screaming yes in chat, of course, texting all caps with exclamation points, and then question marks. Because he probably doesn't believe he just won the game. With a shock. Because he was super nervous all week about this.
Yeah, he wanted to have a good showing because he felt like in the first week he kind of like had expectations because of his decks. Because his decks are pretty amazing, and he felt like he like let himself down by losing to Gorebelly, which I told him like Gorebelly is the co-captain of my team for a reason. I don't
know if I knew that.
What?
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, Gorebelly's pretty awesome. He's a really good player. He's super solid all the time. He was in KFPL season 1. Had a really good game with Fierza actually going into like that. Fierza was the one that knocked him out, but it was a really good game back and forth. Or was it Damn It that he played? I don't remember. One of them, but they had a really long like come to end of turns. It was Damn It. Like it came to end of turns and it was like just like really close, but
All right, looks like we've got Pirate able to come on, so I'm going to close this out and start that call.
You could just add him to this one.
We already have a group over there.
You could. Okay, whatever. Do what you do. Do what you do. Make it difficult. All right, here we go.
Hey, hey.
Hey, that is Anxiospirate. Congratulations! I knew I had faith in you for a reason. You came through. You were my prediction. So talk to us. How'd that feel for you?
I feel very good. I feel like the draws were very favored in my way. Oh, sorry, I'm just pumped. Yeah, it was very stressful leading up because everyone was telling me to ban that deck that is versed today, and said, no, you have to ban it. Eaton's Jar, you have to ban it because Eaton's Jar. And I was like, I just don't think I need to ban it. I think I can beat it. I think the other deck, Sultana, is actually far better and can win games more consistently. And because I knew that my decks didn't care about board too much, so Curiosaurus was Curiosaurus was a big matchup against a lot of decks, and I think I had the right removal. I definitely drew well in that first game right at the end,
Yes,
having
for sure.
double Gateway, Poltergeist, and Control of the Week. I was so stoked when I saw that in my hand. I'm like, that's it. I've won.
All right, I want to talk about your Control of the Week call for a second.
Uh-oh.
Did you look at the deck he had one Saurian card in his hand?
Okay.
There was 11 cards either on the table, purged, or in the discard, and you picked Logos.
Why did you call Logos?
Because he had no Amber Control left in Logos.
He did.
He
He
didn't
Super
try,
Mac.
but had he played the Super Mac that has been terrorizing your life, there was a chance he could have flipped Keylock and he would have knocked you off.
True. I was okay with taking that odds because I didn't know I could have counted, but at that point, I just looked at what he had.
You gotta count, man. I'm just busting your balls. You played great.
No, I agree. I agree that I could have probably called Saurians, but man, I went with Logos for that reason, and it paid off.
It's all good. Like it still got you there. So in the end, it's how you get there that matters, right? So like, well played.
So one of the things that I was talking at the end, it was being more and more clear. You had such a big advantage that you were probably going to close out and win. Is that I know you've been practicing all week, and that obviously paid off. Is this about how your practice was going? Like, did these games go as you expected?
No way. Like that deck stomped Morales every time, except I think I won 2 out of 10 games, like 20% of the time. And I knew that the only way I could win the matchup is if I just get the Ronnies out early and use them as creatures, and then also just keep tempo the entire game. Just keep on checking and forcing him into plays that isn't ideal for his deck.
And yeah, that's exactly what we saw happen. We saw, because I was counting, like there's a Ronnie, there's an Exhume, like you'd played them all. I was like, okay, at this point, it doesn't matter if he plays Jar.
Yeah,
value has been nerfed substantially. Whereas if Jar had hit turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, you probably get cream. Like it's gonna be.
Well, there was one game I played against it where the Eaton's Jar came out first turn, and I still won the game by just playing Dust Imps over and over. And
well, that's the thing. Like if I get Jar first, like early on, is the call actually Ronnie or is it Exhume?
I think it's Exhume.
I think it is Exhume too.
Yeah, because that doesn't happen.
Because the best targets for the Exhumes are the Ronnies, but like at the same time, like you still can get that back to the Archimedes. I don't know. It's kind of a tough because like if you say Ronnie,
because in the deck you still have Dust Up, Igor.
Yeah,
those 3 targets.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
That's a lot of tempo. So.
And like, there's cards like Skeleton Key that can still make it, that forces cards like Graft and all that. And I knew because he was playing a Curiosaurus deck that I could almost force him to go above a certain number just to use Graft. One of the plays that I thought was a sick play in my head was when I gatewayed to get rid of or something like that. I did something to get rid of that Keylock card, what it's called. So he could forge, and then
we were talking about that. Like before you, like as you're starting the turn, I was like, if he's able to kill everything right now and force your opponent to break the block, like that's huge for you. And you did exactly that. That was a really really cool iteration that went down there, because that was such a big board presence on both sides. You had a ton of Amber piled on your side, so you were at that point. You know that's your opponent's Amber. Like Curia doesn't matter anymore. There's 4 and 4.
Like it's crazy because I had tested like 30 to 50 games against Opale, and I never got to play against it. So like I knew that deck's every weakness that deck had, and like I was every game I'd be counting exactly what Amber control cards he had, what creature control cards he has, and I knew, and I even dreamed about it. That sounds ridiculous, but I was dreaming about my game and I'd won it.
Well, dreams come true.
And I was like in my head playing the whole game, like in my dream, as if like card for card, and I'm like, that's how well I knew Opale, the matchups, but I never got to play against it.
And that's what we talk about. Like it's like practice matters. You definitely proved it this week. You definitely put in the reps. I was telling Jupiter, like I've seen you in the AC channel practicing grinding games.
He's grinding in the team channel all week too. Like,
yeah,
he's been very adamant about getting his reps in. Like I said, I think the first week he kind of felt like he let us down because of his lineup and all that. Whatever, we told him it was not a big deal. He played against Gorebelly, who is really good, as he could tell you now because he's faced him. But he's kind of a sleeper. Like people don't realize how good he is, but he's really solid player.
Yeah, there was two players that I aimed to beat this season. If I had to face them, and it was Gorebelly and firesa.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one, and I'm happy because I've never beaten either player in anything competitively. So it feels really good.
You guys like my National Lampoon's hat? I just got it in the mail today. I thought I would show it off.
Just styling Jupiter. Nice. All right, well, I think that is a wrap for us. Thank you for joining us, Pirate. I'll be looking forward to tracking your progress. You won't be featured next week, but I'm sure I will see you grinding out your games in chat. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Unless you pull the buy, but we'll see. But yes. But good luck next week.
You will be featured again if you make it into the top cut at some point. So could do that if you want to be.
But yeah, I knew if I lost this, I wasn't going to I couldn't make top cut, and so.
Can you imagine if Fire and Pirate ended up in the 2-3 slot? We could see the Australian rematch.
Yeah, or he might have to face Gorebelly again.
Ooh, that could be the 2-3 rematch. Like, all right, we're stressing him out. But yeah.
But hey, don't sleep on Pac. I'm going to tell you right now.
No. The next two players that are in my headlights are Alex Shepelev and
Alec is
Pop.
there too.
So you watch out, guys. I'm going to play those matchups all the time if I can.
He is.
Yep.
Alex wants to play. He's pumped for his match. He is.
Yeah. But anyway.
All right, but that is us. We'll be back in 45 minutes, Jupe?
Yeah, about that.
Match.
Mm-hmm. Oh. We'll be back at 8:15.
Okay.
To do our
awesome.
trap. So about a half
Thanks
hour.
for all you guys do, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
We love the game. We love seeing these matches. I don't get to play in the league this, but it is.
I've never got to play in the league.
You have to make it, Jupe.
I'm aware I did. But anyhow, with all that said, we will be back. We're gonna go get something to eat and stuff and kind of get our grips.
Same.
We will be back in about a half hour for the Corey Than versus Aviator matchup, which promises to be another exciting one. So thank you. Congratulations, Lachlan. I'm very proud of you. Thanks for repping out and doing a great job. I was really scared of that Eaton's Jar against two, but
I wasn't scared. I knew Poltergeist was a thing. I had Poltergeist from the start of the game.
Oh, fair.
I chained myself the entire game just to keep Poltergeist.
Sometimes you have to. It's worth it. Sometimes you can't. And I think tempo-wise, you could afford it. Deck pushes faster than his for a bunch of reasons. I'm
still under the impression if you play Eaton's Jar and they have Poltergeist, you just put the Eaton's Jar on the Poltergeist because it makes it a dead card. Like they have to get rid of it. So
yeah.
But either way, good job again, and we'll be back. I'm going to end stream now, and so everybody say their goodbyes as I'm going to get some dinner.
Okay, see you later then.
See ya.
Bye.
And we're out.
Killing machine.